Mm-hmm.
So is that near the Gurgaon Mehrauli road?
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, Gurgaon Mehrauli Road, and this is from that road you kind of come inside a little bit, and yeah,
On the
this is
left-hand
there
side, I suppose.
on the left hand side. Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Crossed by that area a few times. So we've been always looking
Yeah.
for some kind of a board saying Ashoka Ashram here and all. But Darshan, you found it. So maybe next time
Yeah.
I'm there, I'll actually we'll go about to Ashoka Ashram.
Sure. Okay, so we can start, I think, now.
Sure. So actually, there was no structure actually, Christian, that we had in mind. What we just wanted to do was connect with you. That was the main intention of this meeting, and of course, I had some questions along with other people as well. So we just wanted to go about that. So just as a start, I just wanted to understand how how your work looks like when you do visit the SSSC, because there's many other videos and many other places where I've seen about your history of how you joined FIGU, but I just wanted to understand what your work looks like there.
Yesterday evening when I was there, I had to go to the greenhouse and took the hose and watering all the tomatoes and the cucumbers, because Eva has no patience and time to water. And so every 2 weeks or so when I go there, that's my task at the moment. But this is just the first time since I'm the core group this year, because I bought some tomatoes. I said I will reorganize the greenhouse, so perhaps we have a little bit more effect, more tomatoes, because last year everything was really in a bad shape in there. But the main task, of course, is at home here where I sit now, because every day I have to answer emails from all over the world. That's this, and then I'm correcting all the writings that are being published by FIGU SSSC. At the moment, because Billy is in bad health, he doesn't write actually, or hardly writing anything. So this part has slowed down considerably, the output of texts and so. But this is also one of my main tasks. And each book I have to correct at least 2 times, comes to me. And I'm writing articles. All of the group members have to write articles for our Stimme der Wassermann-Zeit. Then when I'm at the center, I have various tasks. Usually I'm working with Jacobus in the forest. We are we used to cut trees and so, but now it has slowed down at the moment. And I'm working in the surrounding, in the area for the flowers. And actually at the moment I'm working on an inventory of all the shrubs and trees, because there are over 300 varieties. Actually it's a botanical garden, the center. And I'm responsible for the contracts, for translations for Billy. But there have just been 2 new contracts for 2 new books to be being translated into English. One in Denmark and one in the United States. Then I'm uploading videos. I used to make more videos. I have many projects, of course, for videos and so on. And at the moment, I'm getting videos from China. You may have seen them on our video channel. Then yeah, and actually I'm the first weekend I'm at the Semjase Silverstar Center from Friday evening to Sunday evening, and on this is the third weekend. I'm 2 times I'm driving, and next week I'm also going for the 4th time each month because I have my personal meditation in the evening at the center on Wednesday next week. Sometimes I'm using this time to go earlier and to work with Jacobus. And I'm also part of the IT group, information technology, but I'm just a corrector and an impulse giver. I'm not an expert in all these fine electronic parts and everything in the server and domains and everything, and so and I'm also the person who is dealing with juristic questions, if there are legal questions, and so that's also one of my tasks. Yeah. I think this is a little overview of what I'm doing.
Wow, I mean, if that was a little overview, I can just imagine how much you must be keeping yourself busy.
Yeah, luckily I'm retired since 4 years, and so I don't have any stress, so I can choose when I'm doing what, because I'm also in the village council in politics, so to say. There I also have many tasks to fulfill. And so I have an interesting life, actually, because we also have our house here and the garden outside, and so I have really an interesting life, and I am content with my situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you mentioned about the electronics. I had a question there. Recently, we were reading about when Billy types something on the keyboard, it sort of messes up on the screen, and some other text or symbols, I'm not sure, starts showing up. And he spoke to Zafenat Panech about it. But was there any resolution to that, or is that hampering some of the things in terms of translations and otherwise slowing down things as well?
It's a huge obstacle in his work. It's really stressing, because if he types, all the signs are coming up, and if someone else is sitting down and writing, everything is normal. And so it's really, people would say it's unbelievable. He's crazy, but if you are looking, you're sitting there and seeing it, it's a unique situation, of course, very stressing. And now, because of his health problem, he's really not very active at the moment, and we have to take care that he doesn't overstress himself, because he has a very high duty consciousness, awareness, or of being, I would say duty. And so we have to take care. And therefore, at the moment, I don't ask him any questions that are coming in from all the world. I have a stock of papers, also from Darshan, from you. And so, because at the moment, we will have to leave him recover, yeah.
I think he's given enough for us to ponder over as well, so can give him that time to just take his rest.
Yeah.
And some of the other questions that I just had, and just it's just out of the blue, these questions, they've been just stacking up for many years, and I've just not got the opportunity to ask them to you. But I was eager about like the Earth has about 129 billion spirit forms currently, and these have come from Mars and the planet Malona, and from the Lyra and the Vega systems. But comparatively, then how many does Era have? Spirit forms totally on the planet.
I don't know. This was never asked, and it's not available in a contact report. But I think it's several times the population. Yes. I guess. Perhaps yes. 2, 3 times or more. I don't know.
Correct. That's right. That's right. Because I think the closest clue we can look at would be their reincarnation cycle. So if they live for about 1,000 years, then accordingly they'll be spending a lot more time on the other side before they come back. So that would be in proportion then. Yeah.
But you have to consider that the normal population doesn't live 1,000 years, because I think it's more a minority that is stretching their lifespan through this regenerating device they are using. If there are certain tasks, I don't know the percentage of how many people are living their normal lifespan of 300 to 400 years and then die. And so it's I think it's it's more exceptional to live more than 1,000 years, because these are perhaps really certain very highly evolved persons who have certain tasks to fulfill, and so they use their lifetime to gather a great knowledge.
Correct. And because of our planet having so many, so many billions of spirit forms, that's where that overpopulation challenge also comes in. It's also because of so many people just multiplying as well, without any kind of thoughts. But is there any sort of way, even if that, as FIGU has recommended and as Billy has recommended, about 7-year restriction, and then allow births to happen, and then again have a 7-year restriction, even if that does happen currently and does happen from tomorrow onwards, is there a chance to normalize that rest period on the other side now, or is that totally something
yeah, in the future, a long way in the future, if there should be a correct or a number of persons for a long time that is adapted to the possibilities of Earth, for the resources and everything, if everything would be normal again over a long time, this could normalize. But of course there are so many spirit forms already existing, so I don't think that all of them will finish their evolution here on this planet. In the future, people will wander off to other worlds and then continue to live live there. But
Yes.
but the chance of a normalizing of this circle is not in sight.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and if as you said, in the future, if it was to happen as well, there would be a great need for a lot of people to move to other planets as well. I mean, not considering now, we're talking about maybe hundreds and hundreds of years in the future.
Thousands of years, perhaps.
Thousands of years, perhaps, in the future. But they will need to move off to really get that stability as well, right? Move off of the planet.
Yeah, I don't know how this planet will continue to exist, in what condition. I don't have information. At the moment, it's deteriorating everything. It's from one day to another, so we don't realize all these small changes that are happening. And so since there is no sign that the overpopulation problem will be taken care of for the time being, everything will go. The problems will slowly but surely become greater, and so many things are destroyed and changed for all the time. But of course, the fauna and the flora will also adapt to the new situation. If the atmosphere is changing, the animals, the insects, everything is also adapting, because nature is always adapting to the surroundings. And so, but I don't know how Earth will look like in 1,000 or 2,000 years. But what's certain is that it will still exist.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, as long as, or not really as long as, as soon as people start considering, as you said in one of the videos, where everybody considers a human as another person who's consuming resources and, a consumer. And that thought is very profound. If one starts to think of it very seriously, then you also see the connectedness among people there as well. So but yeah, you have to do that thinking for yourself. But last question that I had, before I have many more, but I just want to give others also a chance to talk. Just last question that I had on this itself was, so currently on the planet, in terms of an evolution level, would it be correct to say that the spirit forms, these 129 billion spirit forms, some of them, or at least all of them, have lived at least one life, two at maximum, the highest spirit form, of course, being Belize. But apart from Belize, if we leave aside, would be about, say, 12 million years, or 8 to 12 million years old. Would that be correct to say?
Actually, all human spirit forms have had at least one incarnation or several reincarnations, and I guess I think it's several reincarnations already.
Okay.
Because if a so-called human spirit form can only exist or be called a human spirit form if this spirit form has at least once enlivened a human being, and not a pre-human being, a Homo sapiens.
Yes, that first life where the evolution is actually consciousness evolution.
Yes, where the ratio
yes.
has reached a certain level.
Correct.
Yes, this has started to function. I don't know how the graduation, from what point in this development here it's a pre-human being, and then from here it's a human being. I don't know this, because everything is happening not determined by someone or creation. It's according to the creational laws.
Correct.
And on a vibrational swinging wave basis.
Correct. Shreya, you want to ask the question we were discussing yesterday? I think, while we were reading The Might of the Thoughts, it was a pretty good question.
Yeah. So, Christian, I want to understand about personality. In the passage we read yesterday, there was a mention of basic personality, which was in context of 21st day of conception, and the fetus having a basic set of things or called basic personality. So I want to ask here, what is a basic personality that the fetus has? So what is the term basic personality means in a fetus?
I didn't quite entirely understand. The personality, when does it start, or how? What's the question?
So
I
the
would
context,
like to
if I will just give it to you, Christian, would be what we were reading was that on the 21st day of after the
Insemination.
inception, that's when the spirit form enters the fetus, and that's when it starts developing a personality of its own, which then boils down to having a basic morality, basic character, basic form of psyche. So I think that is what Shreya is trying to ask as to what that basic personality means actually.
Yeah, actually, these are the first steps, the pre-requirements. Everything is starting there, but the real personality actually is formed after birth. It's just the basics that is created or starting to become active after conception, after the 21st day, because in the mother's womb, the fetus is just being influenced by the mother, from the mother's side, by her thoughts, her moods and everything. And the brain is forming, and the synapses, the connections are being formed. And of course, there are impulses coming from outside, but the personality really, as we understand it, is formed outside the mother's womb, and is the crucial time of the personality, and especially the character being formed, is during the how do we say it in English? The teenage time, in the
adolescent.
How do you call this phase?
Adolescent time.
In
the teenage groups, adolescent time.
Yeah, it's actually in the 6 years when the beard is growing in boys, and the voice is going down, sexual organs. Puberty,
okay.
Puberty, of course, yes. This is what I was searching for. During these 6 years, this is the really important part where the character should be major, and this needs activity from the youth, from the person, from the boy and the girl. And this is the main reason that this work is not done, that we have all these big problems on our world, because most people have not have a character that is not fully has not fully ripened, or is not mature enough, and only superficially created or developed. And we just recently had a discussion about what's the difference between material consciousness and personality and character, because the material consciousness is not the same as the personality. There was an information earlier on that it's the same, but there are differences between the personality and the material consciousness. And the material consciousness is that factor in a human being that is thinking and is deciding and is acting. And the personality is consisting of material consciousness plus the character together gives the personality. And depending on the state of the character, of the kind of character a person has developed or not developed, the person is acting. And therefore, if the character has not been developed correctly, as it should be, people are, if there are no problems, they are acting like this. And as soon as they are in stress or are being attacked, aggression is, they are losing control, and they're out. The picture they want to have from themselves is toppling down, and another person is coming forth. That's that you can see in religious people who are preaching love and so on. As soon as they are attacked, another behavior is coming forward. Therefore, the personality is something that has to be developed through the entire life, actually, with the important phase in your life, the 6 entire years and a half year before and a half year after, during puberty, where that is crucial. And Billy said that if during these years, the teenage years, actually, if this work is not done correctly, it's hardly possible to do this work at a later time. But of course, we have the problem that the parents don't know about this, and therefore they cannot teach the children of how to think, how to act, and to teach their children about this important phase in one's lifetime.
Yeah, that's right. That's very right. Shreya, you want to ask about the influence then of the personality block as well? Like, so, because Christian, what you said then, can the basic personality then be understood as in the previous life, the essences and the evolutive values that you had considered, that can form the basic personality, and then as you face the external world, your personality then, of course, sort of evolves or grows at a much faster rate.
Yeah, in the woman's womb, the fetus is more developing in line with the genetic structure that they have, and because the fetus is not thinking consciously, because thinking has to be learned after birth. And therefore, the impulses from former lives have to be received and acknowledged during the entire life, and therefore it's so important that the young people should be taught to listen, to have times of no input, where they could learn to listen to their inner being, because only then do they receive impulses, or you could say ideas, because but an idea is actually formed in the subconsciousness of a human being. But to take up, to develop the conscious, das Gewissen, not the consciousness, what's the Gewissen? Das Gewissen, that you know, this is correct action, this is a correct behavior, this is a bad behavior. This factor in yourself, you have to develop, that you don't maltreat animals and kill them just for fun. All these perhaps, das Gewissen. And the question was the impulses. Impulses from former lives. These are playing a role when during the forming of the material consciousness in life, during lifetime.
Okay. So they come into play only after the birth, and once you're in the world, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because the evolution of a human being is occurring only in during life, actually. From at each instant in your life, you are working on your evolution, depending on how aware a person is about one's inner life, inner thoughts, and about outside and reality. The more or less progress is made on the evolutionary level.
Okay, because you mentioned ideas come up from the material subconsciousness. So
Yes,
like that, then go ahead.
Yeah, they are formed.
Okay.
And they are based on whatever you are thinking, and so everything is stored. And so there are below oneself, in the vaults of one's own personality and thinking, there are connections unconsciously happening in the subconsciousness. And if you are open, if you have trust, for instance, in yourself, that you have ideas will come forward, you just are open, you are dealing with a certain topic, and then if you are you have a confidence in your abilities, sometime certainly an idea is coming up, for like if you have a pond with lilies and you have the water, and sometimes there is certainly a lily is coming and blooming, and so it's just like but you have to be open for ideas to come up, and you need to have kind of a confidence. But you cannot say, now I want to have an idea. This is something different. If you have to draw something, you have a task to fulfill, then it's not the idea, it's just a combination of what you have learned, of of your thought processes. And an idea actually, of course, ideas, the term ideas is used in all kinds of situations, but actually and basically an idea is an impulse that is coming up from the subconsciousness.
And the subconsciousness, like, so ideas then can be considered the same way as, like, for example, visions. Would it be then correct to say that, you know, the flow then would be from the spiritual consciousness, then the gamut, and that then flows either to the material subconsciousness, to the psyche, and then to the material consciousness? Like,
yeah. Actually, usually the spiritual consciousness or the spirit anything or spirit form, everything, it's a little bit falsely understood, because it should be more looked upon as an energy source. That it's just like I have here a laptop in front of me, and it would not work if there would not be coming energy through the grid and made everything working. But all this, what's happening here, what I'm talking to, this is produced by the consciousness. And the spiritual part is more perhaps a matrix. It's an energy field. It's energy that makes everything, lets everything work and develop and grow like nature, like a technical device, because without energy you cannot make anything, you cannot create anything technical. And we should not put too much meaning, concrete meaning, into the spiritual side, because it's more or less it's energy that's coming, and because there is no one, creation does not push human beings to produce a laptop or a microphone or something like this, because this is created by human combination, experience, need, and perspectives, and strive. It's the human being. You need a material thinking in order that devices are being created. They are not being created just by the creation pushing or sending out impulses to do this or do that, because it always needs human beings with a brain to produce material things and to use nature.
That's right, because in life is where we are learning. On the other side, there's no learning. There is a dimension that's there, but there's no learning to be had there as such. So the real evolution is actually happening as we are in life.
Yeah, and actually we don't understand creational energy. That's and if you are saying creation, an idea by creation, it's just a human term.
Yes.
To grasp, or creation's love, for instance, because it's just creation's love is just the connection between this force and the result coming from this force, namely ourselves and nature, the planets, the black holes, and everything. That's because this love actually is the interconnectedness of everything that's within creation. And this, because this is we are using the term love for this, because love actually means unification, connectedness.
That's right. That's right. And so if we were to then talk about, like, say, feelings, I just wanted to understand the difference between feelings and empfinden. Like, what would be the, like, I know they're counterparts of each other for the psyche and the gamut, but feelings, I understand, as you explained as well over the email, that, they, first you would have the thought, and then you would have the resulting feeling. And because of that feeling, you will want to drive an action, and you will give might to that thought to make it then a part of yourself in your psyche, to sort of give you like a feedback loop, to always feed you to perform better. But in terms of the empfinden, what is that, and how is that compared to the feelings?
Yeah, and for Empfindungen, you need, this is something much finer. Feelings are coarse material. They are connected with the human body, with the psyche, with the nerves, and so you are detecting this. And then Empfindung is, as far as I understand, is something much finer. And in order to detect, to realize an Empfindung, this perception of an Empfindung is coming through the pineal gland, Zirbeldrüse, through the body, and it's a kind of a profound experience if you can detect or experience an Empfindung. It's not every day. It's a not everyday occurrence that you can sense. But sometime, perhaps out in nature, you just look, you don't think. It's a beautiful scene. You just sit there, and suddenly you feel, it's like feeling, you sense a connectedness with everything. This could be an Empfindung, for instance. And on the other hand, you have the feelings. These are based on thoughts, conscious thoughts or unconscious thoughts, and they are triggered by the thought. So if you see a spider, if you have some problems with spiders, then this is a feeling, or could also be an emotion, of course, if it's not controllable.
Okay.
So, Christian, can we say when a few people saw the spaceship and they felt something, that was the fine feeling?
No, that's not. Just from looking at the spaceship is not this, because it's like something unusual is happening. You are overwhelmed by the situation. You are uncertain. You are enthusiastic, and so because now this is something special, and this is a feeling. There could be a perception, eine Empfindung, could be if an person, an extraterrestrial, is sending out a wave of higher, an Empfindung, then perhaps, but usually this is just excitement, and excitement is actually a feeling or an emotion.
And can we equate that with the fine feelings we get while doing meditation? Can we call that fine feelings?
Yes, this could happen there in a meditation, in a meditative state. that you could have such a fine feeling. Yes, that's possible. And usually, perhaps you, if you have such a feeling, I think if you are aware that this exists, you may realize, now this is not just an ordinary feeling, it's something different.
So,
okay.
Aditya, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So, Christian, I wanted to understand the swinging waves. Do they have a positive and negative nature? If they have positive and negative nature, do they have neutral nature as well? That is my question.
Yes, all swinging waves have two poles. Yes, and depending on the application by the human being or the application, they have a negative or positive effect.
So by application, you mean coming into action, or is it a fine kind of application that you want to say?
So for instance, we have this negative vibration swinging waves from the block around the Earth, and these swinging waves that are constantly emanated by this block, it's like a smog that is shrouding the reason ratio capability of human beings, and so it's plus and negative and plus the wave in itself, because a wave is swinging from up and down all the time. All vibrations actually have this, but it's how should I say this? It's just like in music, you could have a sound that is screeching and is really really tearing at your ears, and you can have harmonious sounds. The sound in itself is neutral, but the effect in your head, because you have swinging waves that are not harmonious, and life enhancing, life furthering, or are not. You have disharmonious and harmonious vibrations. Perhaps you can say it like this. But in itself, these swing waves are plus and minus. They have to have both poles.
Thank you, Christian.
Darshan, you had a question.
Yeah, so Christian, I also want to know, in the same context, is the fine fluidal forces do they also have positive and negative polarity?
Everything has two polarities, yes.
Okay, so for example, if a house or if an area where there were some, let's say in the earlier times, if there were people who were very destructive or with a lot of let's say a negative vibration, or with a lot of negative activities happening, so this particular house or area or whatever, when one goes there, and if you have that kind of let's say sense or something you can perceive it. Is it this way it happens? I mean, you enter a house and you feel something.
Yeah, when I say all the swing waves are plus and minus, I don't say it's bad or good. I mean just really electronical, and of course there are disharmonious waves that are they are like a virus. Usually, a virus can have a bad effect, or a shrill voice can have this effect. The wave in itself is neutral, it's just this, but depending on the receiver, it's accepted or recepted as disharmonious, and therefore it's the same like these fluidal forces that are stored in a building or in an object. They are being emanated, and depending on the person who is sensitive to get these, the person is perhaps of a low sensitivity, or is not strong enough to give a counter reaction to neutralize this emanation, then the person can be affected with a bad mood or have fear, something like this.
Yeah. So this I read before, and I also understood it the same way. But so you mean that one can actually go into these spaces and make it new, and and can use it. There's no problem.
Yeah, of course. And if you have a small house or small building, you are thinking, oh, this is has a bad emanation or something, you can tear it down and build new. or just say, I don't let myself be
Affected by it.
and so I don't care and leave this and start strongly to follow one's goals and objectives and working, and over time, because of one's own strong thinking, these impulses are neutralized over time.
Yeah. So shall I go for another question, Aditya?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please don't ask me. Please go ahead.
No, that's okay. You are kind of a compere here, so that's okay.
No worries.
So I've just put down this question, Christian. So I don't know. I mean, if you can see it, it's fine. Even if you can't see, I'm sure you know about this. So this
I know what you're referring to. Yeah.
Okay. So the question was, how can this telepathic transmission have different handwritings when it is coming from Petale spirit level, where, to my understanding, there is no personality? Or is it so that until one is one with the creation, do we have a personality of a sort, especially in a higher level like Petale?
Yeah, there is, as long as the so-called spiritual levels exist up until Petale, there is always a certain amount, there are certain aspects of the former personalities, some personal or individual, I must say, not personal, individual aspects are still there. And as far as I see this with these different writings, this impulse had to be filtered, because Petale Petali is emanating is not speech. It's not language. It's an impulse that goes like the radio signal that's going into the radio and has to be transformed into audio, an audio signal. And therefore this also had to be transformed and perhaps down the 7 layers to Aratat and then through the High Council to Billy's hand. This was flowing actually through Billy's hands, and he just had to write because he didn't consciously steer what he was writing. He just let his, like in an earthquake sensor, his hand was the needle. From these impulses, and everything was transformed, had to be transformed down, and then depending on the channel where these went through, all kinds of interferences came into, and therefore there were different writings, or perhaps these had to do with former incarnations, personalities. It will be an unsolved mystery for the time being. But this has to, so I think this has to do with this transformation process that had to go, the impulse from Petali had to go through, because I don't think this could have happened directly. It had to go over the lower levels, and then was filtered.
Yeah, I think that can explain, because we think that handwritings are so personal, and it's such a part of our life than could be the part of Petali level.
Yeah. And also we cannot actually understand this transmission of information also from Aratat. It's and the whole process, because everything is done by these 52 million symbols and everything we cannot imagine, because Billy cannot draw these symbols because they are 3-dimensional, and so you cannot draw them. You have to learn, and then you cannot explain. Also this spiritual telepathy, and so also this transmission. He was just the receiving station, because he cannot contact these high levels himself.
Yeah. It has to be one way from them to him, but not other way around.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and another question, Christian, again, it's a very, very lame question. We read about it many times, but it's still a mystery. So how are these crop circles formed? Because according to Billy's explanation, this is something like how we work on computer. But for me, it's very difficult to understand with that explanation how exactly these are formed. Either they are done by human beings with the machines, or maybe some other way. This is little confusing.
Yeah, I don't have more information that's in the contact reports. But if you know today how sophisticated people are with computer and can create all kinds of films and drawings and everything, the fantasy of human beings is so broad, all the capabilities, and therefore you can today with GPS, with your creativity to have all kinds of interesting patterns, and so it's possible, but I have never been there, and so I cannot tell you. But of course, it's if you see how in agriculture the machines are or there are machines that can detect weed among the crop, and so
Yeah.
and then through
Yeah.
the GPS at in a tiny spot, and so
Yeah.
it's also possible to with all these devices to know exactly where you have to go. And people's creativity is really, you must not be underestimated, because there are challenges all over the fields of how, if you see in YouTube, how people, the capability people have to make a new. I just recently looked at from a chain. A person took a part of a heavy chain, then heated it, and in the end he had a Japanese
Yeah.
sword, something
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
The people out there, it's astonishing what people can do with, if they have the little bit of skill and the intention and the enthusiasm and everything. So it's practically, therefore, making these crop circles belongs into this category.
I saw this
So no.
exact video 3 days ago, like 3, 4 days ago, of out of
Yeah,
that big chain anchor, the one that's used in the anchor of ships.
yeah,
He used that to make a Japanese short blade, and a very like it was just amazing how they
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I had to upload a video on our channel. Usually I'm not on YouTube, but then you see, have these pictures on the right side. And so exactly, about 3 days ago, this popped up
Correct. In
there.
the in recommendations.
Yeah. And so it's amazing what people can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are no some cosmic influence or something, or the earth's own collective influence or anything of that sort. This is all mechanically done, you think?
I guess, yeah. Creativity, there is a creational emanation, or a swinging wave, basic wave throughout the whole universe and creation to enable creativity to unfold or be applied. And this has to do with the print with ideas of impulses coming forward. And so you have all kinds of gifted persons that are very efficient in creating, creating pictures and or art, and so, and therefore it's good. It's very well possible that they are in kind of there are people out there who have kind of a Wettbewerb. They are in
Equipments.
what's a Wettbewerb? They are trying to top a crop circle from other persons. They have an inspiration of doing something more tricky. A competition. They are kind of a secret competition, because there is the secrecy in
Yeah.
creating these crop circles is also something challenging
Yeah.
for these people, because if they would do it just the TV is there, everything, and so the challenge would not be the same. The secrecy and knowing I produced this picture in the cornfield is really perhaps it's like
like a thrill.
Thrill or craving or addiction, something like this for and because it's an achievement, a fulfilling achievement to lead the people astray and laugh about the explanation they are creating and all these people there with antennas on their head and so they are fooling the people. So this is also perhaps, but actually I don't know how they are made because I haven't been there.
Okay. Yeah, Shreya or
Shreya, you
Gajinder.
had a question? Yeah, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, a quick question. So we were discussing about fluidal forces. So I wanted to know, because I've seen all 3 videos about fluidal forces. Those are very interesting to look at. There's a thing that I wanted to ask is whether we can use fluidal forces in a positive way, collect them to use it in meditation and other forms. For our personal gain. Is it a possibility with someone else's fluidal forces to help our evolution? So if
the human being is actually using his own or her own fluidal forces, and it's as far as I know, it's rare that you can draw on the fluidal forces or draw benefit from the fluidal forces of other persons. You can feel, perhaps you feel, have a good feeling if you are confronted with fluidal forces. If you are going in a house that you feel welcome, something like this, or you are going in a house where you feel uneasy or so, but actually all these fluidal forces thing is happening unconsciously because we at the moment, terrestrial human beings, we are not in a position or are capable to direct or have make conscious use of these fluidal forces, except to go away from places where you feel uneasy, or to frequently use places where you feel at ease, something like this.
So, Christian, I was asking this question as there are many Buddhist monasteries where they say that relic of Buddha is kept. And people say that based on that, when they go there, they can meditate better. So according to your explanation, it actually, does it have any impact on people? Because that relic is from somebody who is a little more knowledgeable than we are in a way. So will that help us? And as you already discussed, that it would not help us. So in what happens in that case? So Buddhist relics kept in such
that's a placebo effect. Just placebo effect, because these people are not, because if you have on the one hand, you don't know if this finger bone is from Siddhartha or something like this, or Shiva, or I don't know from whom, because perhaps there are more finger bones available than the person, more than 10 finger bones available or distributed all over the land, and so, but this is just placebo. It's just like homeopathy. People are believing, and then they are it's kind of an auto-suggestion process, actually.
So, Christine, last question. I'm not going to ask you more question. So, is placebo equal to might of thought?
Yes, of course, yeah. Like nocebo, like the people who are reading the descriptions on the medication box, and then they have all kinds of these symptoms. They are creating them themselves. That's a nocebo effect, because people are, yes, placebo and nocebo is really the might of thoughts. It's actually proof, it's evidence
Yes,
about
yes.
about the might of the thoughts. That's really it's proof.
Yeah. So it's a big medical history. The German scientist who started homeopathy, and now when we see homeopathy, it actually has a function like a placebo. So it's generally, this is how we can,
it's a belief
understand might of
system.
thought. And thank
And
you,
so,
Christian.
and so that's so it's even possible if you believe in homeopathy and give your dog some stuff. So because if you are expecting, you are creating thoughts that are unconsciously have a beneficial effect on the dog. This is possible because all animals also have a brain and are also influenced by vibrations, by swinging waves. Yes.
Gajendra, you had a question?
Yeah, I have one question, Christian. This is regarding prophecies. One of the Enoch prophecies is on the war between India and China. So the prophecy says that there is going to be a war between India and China in which there are going to be a massive death in and around New Delhi area. That figure is given in the prophecy is around 30 billion or so. And in the last couple of years, the relationship between India and China is, going back. There were some incidents last year where a lot of soldiers got killed on both sides. So my question is that, me and Darshan, we live in this area in New Delhi, in and around. So my question is that, is there any advice for us in terms of these prophecies, or are there any possibility of fulfillment of this policy in the near future?
Yeah, I don't have more information than is in these prophecies at the moment. It doesn't look like there will be an attack by China to India, but of course, politics on our planet is insane and it goes up and down. You never know what will happen, and it's of course China cannot feed itself, and the army is built up and becoming more sophisticated, and it's certainly stronger than India's army. And I don't know, can India nourish the people? Do you have enough food in your country for everybody?
Yeah, I think as of now, we do import many things, but more or less we have quite big fertile land in the country. I think the food production is currently able to sustain the population level. In future, we don't know how it's going to be, because the land is decreasing and the population is increasing.
Yeah, but I don't, at the moment, I don't see any probability that this will happen. There have been other prophecies that have been neutralized and so on. As long as it's still a prophecy, it doesn't have to be fulfilled. And of course, I have to admit that I don't know everywhere, is this now a prediction or is this a prophecy? So the whole thing is kind of a threat situation to let the people be aware and take care and try to be friendly and peaceful. And so, but you never know. At the moment, I see more problems between the United States and China than with India. So Kashmir, yeah, of course, China has interest and is becoming stronger and stronger. Until now, they have more concentrated on business, and so they are now starting to concentrate also to power. And so we don't know. I don't know what will come out of this, but yeah. But I don't have more information that's available in the books.
Because we, the people who are living in this area, if we move from this area, it's going to be a very big decision.
Yeah, I sorry, your voice seems a little bit distant, so I have a little bit problems to understand.
I was just saying that.
Much better, much better.
Yeah, is it better now?
So it's good.
Yeah, I was saying that we live in this area, and if we plan to move from this area to some other area which is safer, then it's going to be a big decision for us to move up our house and move all family members. So that's the reason why I was asking this question, that if there is any possibility of fulfillment of this prophecy, then we may have to think about moving from this area to some other area.
Yeah, you have to know megacities are attractive for people, but there is quite danger because as soon as you don't have a grid, a power from the grid for several days, you have perhaps more problems than when you are living outside in the countryside where you have a garden or something like this, or where you have storing. You can have a fire, wood stove or something like this, where you can. The bigger all these megacities, the bigger the cities, perhaps it's if you attack a country, it's best to put the atom bomb on cities, because then you have the biggest effect. And it doesn't make sense to go out in the countryside over there. I don't see a threat now for atomic bomb, but really in cities, if, I think this is one of the great, beside pandemics, are spreading much faster, and if you don't have the energy, then you have quite an inconvenient situations. If, for instance, in New Delhi, you are without power for a week, or even here in Switzerland, you would have the same problem on perhaps in a little other level. But then all these underdeveloped characters are being exposed and are working, and then you have all kind of trouble. And therefore, I'm lucky. I'm living here in a small village, 850 persons. Our village is on a hill, on top of a hill, and so on this side up here from my house, it's about 50 meters. I don't have to care about flooding or something like this, and it's perhaps advisable but most people have no chance to go out to live in the countryside. Many people are finding the paradise in the city, or they have to go because of overpopulation. The land is they can tend to is becoming smaller and smaller. They have drought and flooding, and so they don't have money. Many people have no choice, of course, but if a person has a choice, it's advisable to go out in the country. But then also you have to consider, how is the chance, will I have water? Because without water, it's also a problem outside in the countryside. And so there are different aspects one has to take into account.
Thank you, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Christian, I had a question that was a little off topic, and it's totally different. It goes back like right in the past. So 11,700 years ago is when we had all the Atlantis and Mu thing going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my question is more around the Om. So we know the symbol came 13,500 years ago. So can you explain to us, like draw up a timeline as to, were there only the Atlantis and Mu people at that time on the planet, and
No. There were terrestrial human beings, of course, were here, and there have been people 100,000 years ago, have been people and civilizations on different continents. Terrestrial humankind is far older than just these 11,500 years. There have been at different times extraterrestrials were coming into this planet, went away, or inbred with human beings, or died out, and so it's human history is much longer than just these 11,500 or 13,500 years.
Correct. No, my question was more around the Om symbol itself. In one of your videos where you're talking about the pronunciation of some of the names, there you mentioned that the Om symbol came to the planet 13,500 years ago. So I'm just trying to draw a conclusion, in terms of what I've seen growing up. I've grown up in a Hindu family, so I've seen the whole Om symbol, and now as I understand now, that's a falsification. But I just wanted to sort of understand who got that, and when was that really falsified, and all this really started as such.
Yeah, I don't know when, but of course there have been also extraterrestrial visits to India. There have been connections, there have been people, there have been even Pleiadian scientists going to different places on our Earth to teaching people language or writing, alphabets, and all these kind of things. And so I think it's hardly possible. Of course, it could be possible if the research would be executed by the Pleiadian, or perhaps they know when and how this Omfalon Murado abbreviation was brought to Earth, and in Indian style, it's not like on the Om book.
Yeah.
And on the Om book, I think it's newer, this kind of design than the original one.
That's right. And in the pronunciation also, it said, like, if we read it in what we know in Devanagari, that's the script for Sanskrit, for Hindi, and also it's written in actually like Am. That's how we would read it. But yeah, based on the pronunciation video that I had seen, where it's actually Om, where you have to split the ratio of when you're pronouncing the O, U, and the
Yeah, but this is all only for the meditation, for the vibration, highly. Yeah.
So the meaning of Om itself is laws of creation, right? So another question that I have would be like, what would be the difference then between what we see in the Decalogue and Dodecalogue versus the Om?
They don't know. Yeah, perhaps no, it's not the Om, because it was the Om is something different. Because the Om, the book that we have is these 77 canons,
Yes.
chapters, and so. But actually, there are 77 million of these. It's just a kind of condensation. It's just an excerpt of everything that is written down in this library there on ERA. They have these all the 77 million canons and verses of these of the Om, of the original Om, that has been stored over millennia and thousands and millions of years.
All right, all right. And that is what Billy helps them out with in terms of, you know, some of the spiritual teachings that he gives to them, like for their level.
He opened this this library for them. He gave the code. It's not just a number. It must be something different. And so, perhaps you have to, in kind of with thinking or something like this. He opened this library, and now they have for the next 10,000s and 100,000s of years, they can study all these canons, because reading is not the same as study. And so even if you read 77 million canons with billions of verses, of course, in one lifetime, it doesn't make sense, because the less reading, but the more study and implementing. That's the way, actually, that makes sense.
That's right, absolutely. You have to experience what you're actually reading, you have to think about it, and then implement what values you can for that particular life. Very right.
Yeah, and that's the evolution. That's the consciousness-based evolution. Exactly this
Correct.
process. So,
Correct. I honestly, Christian, if you give me time, you know, I will keep going on and on, because I have like a load of questions, but I understand that, you know, 1.5 hours have gone by. So I just would want to leave it to you. If you would want to, you know, stop now, or we can continue if some of the others have questions as well.
yeah, so we can continue until my wife is calling me for eating, to have some lunch or something like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Christian. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I would not want to tire himself so much.
Yeah, that's what even I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, so I'm more listening. And nice shirt, Christian.
But we can also have repeat this meeting all the time. I'm open if you are wishing to have such meetings. We can have them from time to time. That's also possible.
Yes, please, for sure.
Absolutely.
That's great.
I'd be gunning
Thank
for
you
that.
very much for that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Christian.
Yeah, but if I'm looking at these pictures here, I think, Shreya, you should also grow a beard. You are an exception. You are an exception.
In next life, Christian, in next life. If I would be a man.
Yeah.
Or maybe I can use a fake one.
But at least you also have glasses.
Yes.
So we have something in common.
Yes, yes.
So I think, Christian, the shirt you are wearing is the shirt which we give to you?
Mhm.
The shirt which you are wearing? The shirt which you are wearing? The
T-shirt that you're wearing, Christian,
the
is that the one that
I
Darshan
I said to my wife, I will wear the shirt that I got from India
yeah.
as a gift. Yeah. Usually I'm just keeping this shirt for special moments, and this has been a special moment. My first Zoom meeting with India. So I thought perhaps next time I'm wearing perhaps this one here.
Yeah.
That's my. I got this when my last day at my job.
Okay.
Or I wear this one here. I got it from Canada.
Oh wow!
Nice.
This is a very nice one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and usually I have it here. I have some dust in here, so
it has many purposes. Many purposes of covering your
but
keyboard.
these are the only T-shirts I have right here, so I cannot show you more of them.
But you said dust in Switzerland. I mean, we understand dust in Delhi, but not in Switzerland so much.
Mm-hmm. But I can also show we today the sun should come shining in the afternoon. Perhaps we have still we are in eastern part here in Switzerland. We have still a bit fog. The fog is slowly going away, and I have to take this. You see here the tree with pear fruit.
Oh wow!
Nice.
This is the clouds. We have clouds also here, and so perhaps next time my car. Next time we have more sunshine than perhaps you. Perhaps, and what I also can show you, this girl, another core group member, 2 core group members are living here.
Oh, okay.
Back there. That's really interesting that they moved here 2 years ago, and so we can exchange opinions, and sometimes we are exchanging vegetables or cakes or something like this, and that's really good to know core group members as near as here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, living so close to each other, you guys can meet up anytime, and as you said, exchanging cucumbers and cakes and.
Yeah. And they have 2 small children that they are playing, and when I'm sitting here, I always see them over there, so quarreling with each other or something like this. Yeah.
Did you, Christian, did you get to meet Selina, by the way? How is she?
Yeah, she's yesterday. She always wants to know when will I drive home. I have to tell her, a moment, I heard a moment, please.
Yeah.
The bell.
It's a very nice kurta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice kurta.
Yeah. Moment, perhaps.
Who is that?
Lanka, I guess.
Harlanka?
Is that? Yeah.
No. Some man.
Samuel. I think
Talk with my wife. Perhaps they brought something. So.
Lanka and Samuel.
So, did you tell?
Christian, are they Halanka and Samuel?
Yeah, Halanka and Samuel, yes.
Oh.
How are the kids? How is Lily?
Liliana and Nolan, they are driving around with their small bicycles. Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
And tonight, Halanka will drive with me to the center, and Samuel will take care of the children. And yesterday he went.
Yeah. So pay our love and regard to them. Send our give our best wishes from India.
I will tell them, yes. Mm-hmm.
I had one final question, Christian. I was reading about contract report 754, where there's a lot of explanation. Even I guess Pita was interested in having a detailed explanation from Billy on some of the religions. So Billy summarized some of the the religions and what they really believe in and how it goes. In that particular contract report, what I found interesting was that one point was that Siddhartha Gautama came to know about what was going to happen in the 19th and 20th century with his teaching as well in Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that happen? Like, did Billy how he met Emmanuel, or how he would have met some of the other political leaders around? Did he meet Siddhartha Gautama as well?
Yes.
Okay.
He also met all the old prophets. He went in that time together with Svat, and they were talking about this, and Billy informed him what will happen from his teaching from Siddhartha. Yeah.
So is Siddhartha Gautam then, also in terms of his spirit form lineage, is that also something that's, someone who's like maybe a supporter of the Nocodemian teaching, and since that line he's also been sort of responsible for spreading some of the spiritual teachings, or is he?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Siddhartha was not one of the Nocodemian line.
Yes, no, I'm saying.
But of course he had his self-appointed task or mission. He realized he's doing well. He has money. He has wealth, and so there are people who have nothing. And from this, he was listening to his inner responsibilities, obligation. He wanted to change something and do some good, be a good human being. And so that's he had this process. He thought about the situation and what would be possible to have a good life. And so that's when he developed his teaching, so to say, from his own realization of the surrounding situation.
That's wonderful. From his own might, he realized that this is important and this needs to be spread. Yeah, Darshan, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I think he also met the Bodhi people who were from the Lyran lineage or something like that, Christian?
Yeah, he met many more people than we are aware of course. And what Siddhartha made, we also have people nowadays, people who have realized that there is much unjustness on the world, and they are trying to help or to improve situations. And it's the same like in another dimension, of course, but we have also people who are interested to change, to do some positive to the grief and the problems and the bad situations that are around. And so Billy also went back to Old Greek. He was obviously he wanted to see much to research much of what has been transported today or has been recorded and said that has happened, to verify if these things were as they are known today.
Okay. Okay. And the Plejarin, one thing I saw was, in 2006 when I started reading, I knew Ptah had the evolution level of an Ishwish, which is king of wisdom. How did that, and I don't know if Quetzal was that time an Ishwish, but I think Semyoze was half Ishwish at that time. But as I studied the contact reports further, I noticed that they were evolving to the Sruth level as well. So
yeah, Ptah, so far I know only Ptah has reached, from these persons we know, Ptah has reached this higher level of education and capabilities. So
yes.
he's a Sruth, and as far as I know, Quetzal is still an Ishwish, and Semyoze is aspiring. Perhaps she's already now an Ishirish.
Okay.
I guess she's an Ishirish.
Okay, and there are assessments that they have to go through for this?
Yeah.
Like, is there something? Okay.
Yeah, they have assessments, yes.
I'm very curious about that because, these assessments would then be can be kind of categorized as life assessments because maybe it will involve a psychological assessment. And, I'm just curious to sort of understand how that assessment is built up.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I can just imagine, because with the Plejarin, an Ishwish is not just a technical expert, because if they are using Ishwish, these are really attached or meant for spiritual teaching, for the teaching of life. These matters to be able to contact the High Council, to get information from meditation, to have knowledge about all these the teaching, the profound parts of the teaching, and to apply it, to have the capability for spiritual telepathy. Not all of these Plejarin people have this capacity. Probably only a few. Only these Ishwishes have this capability for spiritual telepathy, and so it's must be a kind of a general knowledge and wisdom, but especially for the teaching of life, of the spiritual energy of truth. These teachings.
Okay.
Aditya, I have a question. Actually, I forgot to ask Christian. I noted it down, so I'll just can I go for it?
Please
Yeah.
go for it.
Okay. So Christian, just a second, please. So there is a lot of talk about the spherical circular architecture being better than the angular or rectangular or a square forms in your view, is there an advantage? As we know, even the Pleiadians have oval and spherical living and working buildings. So do you think that one should also kind of go for such spaces?
Yeah, round forms are more in line with nature, of course, but it doesn't matter. Perhaps dome-shaped houses perhaps have more stability in an earthquake, something like this. But if you are making a dome from bricks, concrete bricks, it's not safe. It's safe because brick buildings are not earthquake proof. Perhaps you're using kind of an artificial stuff like plastic, some artificial stuff, or from metal, or wood. So, but it's basically it's up to human beings. It's not a requirement to have round things, and if you have furniture, perhaps it makes more sense to have lines. You have problems to put them on the round wall. Something
Yeah. That question is always being there in my head, because most of our products and furniture is rectangular or square in form, and then to set these in the rounded or a spherical houses will be a big problem. But I've been studying about these structures, and they make nowadays they are making this earthquake resistant structures from earth bag. So they put mud in the like a polypropylene bag, and then they stamp it, and in between they have this barbed wire, so they hold the bag below and the bag up, and then they go further like that, and then create a dome, and they've been tried and tested in many areas. So we were planning to go for it also in for the eco village and for the library I was talking about.
Yeah, and it's important, like in Switzerland, all the bigger buildings have to have earthquake-proof structures. They have to have made from concrete
Beams
structures
and
that are
pillars.
going up, and with thick iron mesh bars, and so everything is really strict and cannot
all
flow like this. And so if you have a house made of bricks, and so it makes sense that the roof is that you have a structure beneath that it's really stable, that can perhaps may move, but is really stable. Stable then, like this. And not all the room, all the rooms are just like this. All the walls in the whole, and then because they all can topple down like domino stones. So you have to counter walls, and so.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's all the. I mean, I have more questions, but I don't want to tire Christian out unnecessarily.
Yeah, I really have now go to bed, to sleep, for a recreation.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, sounds like a plan on Sunday.
No.
And your lunch is done, Christian?
No, it's not done. I just realized that they were talking, and I think but perhaps it's soon. Now it's midday. In 2 minutes, we have noon.
Okay, so 12 o'clock.
But soon, I think soon there's something to bite
you can smell
on.
Yeah.
Now I know it, she's making pizza.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Excellent, Christian. I don't want to take too much more of your time. I think unless anyone else, you guys have any other questions that we can ask Christian, and we can connect with him again also as well.
Yes, we can always put it for the next time, and we can stop here so that he can also follow his day.
Okay. Then I send you my best regards and good wishes, and I'm really I enjoyed this this talk, and I will we can it's up to you. You contact me and say now we have a need for another conference, and then we will organize another meeting. So it's up to you, but not every week.
No,
So
no,
more space. And
yes.
tomorrow, the next Sunday, I have a video conference with Trinidad, and so then. But it's up to you if you have the need or something to discuss. It's an easy. It's a good possibility to have these kinds of conferences.
Yes.
So I think it's cheap. It's cheap if you don't have to pay for the airplane.
One day, hopefully, we can fly down there and meet everyone as well.
Yeah, we hope this pandemic is certainly it's
goes away.
Certainly, who knows what's happening.
And you don't have cases around your house, like Liliana and all these people can just play outside?
No, we had a core group member who had the infection, but when I go to the center, I take my mask, and when we are in the meeting room, all the members that are living outside, we wear our masks, and we have to disinfect our hands when we go into the house, and so we keep distance. And in the meeting room, the people who are living at the center are in one corner, and the rest is on the other side of the room. And only when we are meditating, we have more than 2 meters between each person. Then during meditation, we can leave the mask. That's we have to take precautionary measures. We keep as long as the Pleiaren tell us. We will take care, because in Switzerland they are irresponsible, the authorities, and the people are many people are crazy. They are they are not in control of their rationality. So they only hope, believe, and party is the motto.
That's true.
Well, Christian, wish everyone at the center from our side the very best, and the very best to you as well. Thank you so much for taking out the
Okay, you're
time
welcome. Then we will see you sometime this year.
Absolutely, Christian. Thank you so much.
You're
bye-bye.
Welcome.
Salome.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Salome, Christian.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Christian. Thank you. Salome.
Salome.